Hi, Dr. Norman. My name is Brandi Blackmon, and this is my persuasive speech. Now, I'm not a parent as of yet, and I can assume that most of you are. I can only imagine the worries on all parents' faces when you have to send your children off to school every year. Before every single first day of the semester, I remembered I received these daily talks of the do's and don'ts before I would grab my book bag, throw it over my shoulder, and then head to the school bus. I was always told that I had to be cautious of my surroundings. I should walk very quickly, and most importantly, I had to avoid all contact with strangers. Well, how do you explain that now that teachers and your kids' best friends are now on that list of people to avoid? As today in the local news of Macon's The Telegraph, it accounts 156,588 positive cases of COVID-19 in Georgia, with 170 positive cases are reported from Macon to Warner Robins in the last 2 days. Now, let me ask you as adults, what are you doing to keep your little ones safe? Well, as we all know, House and county schools are expected to start in the next week or so, and we as adults have to prepare our little ones. Today, we'll look at why is it important to effectively educate our youth, what schools are planning to do, and how to voice your opinion as guardians. Leading in the next 13 days, your babies of all various ages will be returning to a classroom setting if he or she plans on playing fall sports for House and county schools. In the recent week, nearly 8,000 parents took it to Facebook to petition and speak their minds and thoughts with the Enough is Enough in Warner Robins Facebook page. Several of those parents recently spoke out in the House and County Board of Education meeting held several days ago. Some of those were nearly pleading for answers, and some of those were angrily asking for answers. So, parents have issued their concerns about the early start of education this year and are simply asking if that start can be delayed into September. Now, aside from Macon, Warner Robins is the next biggest city in Middle Georgia. It's home to nearly 161,000 people. Now, only a small portion of family and friends and parents are actually speaking out to the cause in the House and County area. I'm sorry, but 8,000 people to 161,000 people is sincerely just not a comparison. Unfortunately, parents, we have to do better about this. You have to encourage your neighbors, your friends, and your families to speak up at these board meetings to get the kids back at home where it's safe. Now, I can imagine what you're thinking. What if the concerns are simply unheard? What if they're ignored at the next board meeting? As a reference from the Board of Education's websites, here's what they're planning to do to keep your kids safe in their care. Let's review just a few. All bus riders are now enforced to have assigned seating and must wear masks. Masks are actually optional in the school when they should be fairly mandatory. House and County also states on their websites that they would increase cleaning for high-touch areas. But honestly and truly, will they be able to clean after hundreds of students? Within the past month, we've experienced very much empty shelves in our grocery stores and in our local shopping areas. What happens when that supply for the school system simply runs out? We need to consider more than optimism and look at the actual facts. Now, if your main source of getting your information is the internet, please understand that we have tons of factual sources to view and learn from. The number one would be the CDC. The next at a leading great second would be the WHO, World Health Organization. Utilizing these websites on a daily to weekly basis allows you to stay connected and direct with those sources, helps you to avoid false information such as was posted on Facebook, and it gives you the ability to educate everyone around you. Now, parents, don't let that teaching stop there. There are very fun and easy ways to educate your kids with using YouTube. Some of those are even simple experiments that can be done at home with your little ones. CDC also is required and provides VIS sheets. For those of you that don't know, that is vaccine information sheets. You're able to look at these sheets and they're available at all the time and updated frequently. VIS sheets, along with proper healthy eating habits and care, help keep your kids' immune system up and healthy. So now that we reviewed some of the tips to keep your kids healthy during this school year, I want you all to remember that Houston County surveyed 76.8% of parents, and out of the 100, 76.8% of the parents were in favor of sending their kids back to school. Equally, that amount of parents also agreed that their kids will be playing sports this year. Yes, Houston County claims to provide a germ-free zone, but how could we be so sure? Hopefully, with the parents' educational importance of infection control will work. But what happens if those parents simply just send their kids to school sick? Perhaps everyone then will gather in favor of the Enough is Enough in the Warner Robins page, just as those 8,000 parents have. Like previous events in history, let's not wait until this global warning, state warning, or actually a county warning becomes personal. Please voice your opinions when it's necessary, and it's necessary right now. Thank you.